been a very entertaining first 45 minutes out in Anafo Suji Abuo Park. Not without some controversial decisions there. Referee Muro Osman awarded a penalty to Bechem United, but resigned in that decision after consulting the first assistant referee. We'll be talking about that here on StarTimes Adepa Channel 247. My name is Mutala Yakubu, still in the company of my senior colleague. He's here and he also watched the incident. He will be talking about that. Felix Romack and of course Josiah Okokwe. These are the first half statistics there. Bechem United have had a lion's share of possession with 53 as against Kotoko's 47. 3 shots on target for Bechem, and Kotoko only had 1, and Bechem were awarded with 2 corner kicks. Kotoko had 1 offside that was flagged against Bechem United. 8 fouls were committed by the home side to Kotoko's 13, and only 1 yellow card was flashed in this game, and it went to Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Felix, let's not mix well. Let's go straight into action. Do you think that was a penalty?
Well, Muta, it's a bit controversial, but I think that if you talk about handball decisions, we also have to talk about the natural position of the arm or the natural position of the arm. If you look at, I wish we could have.
But why are there so many interpretations when it comes to handball in football?
Well, that is one thing that we need clarity to.
Yeah.
Now, even where the ball, there's classification as to which one is the sleeve, which one is the arm, which one is the arm. So, but at the end of the day, the referee has the sole discretion to make.
Yeah.
The ultimate decision lies with him to say it is a penalty or not. For this particular one, he went straight to pointing to the spot.
Yeah.
But then later he had to change his mind because I'm sure the linesman communicated to him. I was a bit surprised because in terms of proximity, so at this particular point, if you look at the referee, there is no way you can convince me that in terms of proximity, he didn't have a better view than the linesman. I don't think the linesman, at this particular point, I don't think the linesman had a better view than the referee himself. And then you ask yourself, at this particular point, he made a decision. It means that he was so sure about it. He was so sure as to why he changed his mind. He has the right to do that because when you talk about officiating, the 2 linesmen are there to assist him to make better decisions. So I'm sure that he thought, or maybe the linesman had a better view or better interpretation than Dr. Osman Imoro in that particular decision. But for me, I don't think that it was the right call. I think for me, it should have been a penalty because I don't know if it was Nuruddin. He had his arm stretched to prevent that ball from going in.
Josiah, I mean, pundits like Jamie Carragher, Gary Neville, they say all the rules in football are clear except the handball rule. Every referee comes with his own interpretation here. This was a shot from Ano, and Nuruddin had gone down. But I'll give Nuruddin the benefit of the doubt because he had his eye even away from the ball. So he didn't even know where the ball was.
It's not about having your eyes away. It's about trying to make your body bigger.
Yeah, he made his body bigger.
That was what he was trying to do, and he added his hand to it. Just look at what he does over here. The ball doesn't ricochet, Just look at that. The first part of his body it hit is the arm. It doesn't come off any part of his body.
Before it comes over onto his leg?
He knows what he's doing. He's looking away, but he clearly knows what he's doing. And that's how smart defenders are. He doesn't need to look at where the ball is coming from. All he's trying to do is to make himself as big as he can and try to obstruct the ball from going on target. I have my reservations with regards to that decision from the referee because one, he was in a better position than the linesman. 2, you look at his body language, and he was so sure, he was confident about the decision he took because it took less than 2 seconds after the ball had come off the arm of Nuruddin for him to whistle for a penalty. Tell me he wasn't sure. He was very, very sure of the decision he was making. So why confer with the assistant referee who was, even a distance away from the incident? That's what I'm not trying to get because you, the referee, can interpret the rule. And on the day, you are the man in charge of the game. And I understand why the Bechem United players are peeved. Mutala, it's different if the ball had come off any part of his body before coming off his arm. But then also, it's still questionable because you are obstructing what? A clear goal scoring opportunity. And the player is aware of that. He's very much aware of that. So for Bechem United, I'll say, see, they have every right to feel peeved, to feel disappointed, because that wasn't supposed to be the call. If you are confident as a referee, you know, it tells in your decision making, it tells in your course, your verdict and your judgment. And it was clear on that occasion that he had it right and spot on for that penalty.
Wow. But Felix, I'm sure Bechem United would not be so hard done or not be hard on themselves, because they've had a lion's share of possession. They've created the best chances. One of those chances fell to Emmanuel Arnaud with that beautiful volley, and Danlad Ibrahim equally providing that wonderful save.
If you look at the stats that were shown on the screen right after the whistle for the first 45 minutes, Bechem United had a lot of possession. They created a lot of the chances. They had shots on target. They had more corner kicks than Kumasi Asante Kotoko. They are playing better. I think that the only difference why the scoreline is goalless has to be Danlad. And earlier on, I spoke about his fitness level, but clearly it tells you from what we've seen the opening 45 minutes, he's been working on himself when he wasn't playing. Excellent save, not just from Emmanuel Arnaud, but we saw that one also from Kinfo. That excellent save from Kinfo. It could have easily been 2-0 to Bechem United. The Hunters have been the better side. They've created a better opportunity. I'm yet to see Kalu Watara in the game. Kotoko are not progressing the ball. This is a wonderful save. This should have been the first goal. Excellent save from Danlad. You see what?
It doesn't look rusty at all.
At all. And I told you that in a game like this, and when you are on the losing run, you need leadership and quality. And that is exactly what Danlad will provide you. He'll give you that leadership in post, and then he's also a very good goalkeeper. And that is the reason why he's been able to coordinate the four men in front of him, or that defensive shield in front of him. So far, he's been the most outstanding player for Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and he's the reason why the scoreline is still goalless.
And Kotoko would be very confident also coming into the second half, because they've not conceded and they are still very much in the game. But they've not done too much, especially up front. Goalkeeper Dari has been on a virtual holiday.
Yeah, he's been more or less like a spectator in the first 45. And, you know, before the game started, we were talking about Kalu Watara and that, you know, telepathy between himself and Enoch Morrison, Baba Yaya, you know, and the rest of the attacking players. And it looks like there's been no service to him, because we spoke about the fact that if you're playing with someone like Kalu Watara as your focal head or point, you know, your lead striker, a target man, then you should also provide fullbacks who can advance into the third half and also swing in crosses for him. Now count the number of crosses that has been swung in for Kalu Watara to try and get at the end of. Practically, it's been less than 2. So that's where he becomes ineffective, because he's not one of the best players, you know, when it comes to using the feet. He's not so good with the feet.
And he's not been really fed well.
And that's
the likes of Baba Yaya haven't gotten hold of the ball.
If you're playing Koto at right back, and you're playing, was it Tedeku even had to come on? You know,
for Osebonsu, who got injured.
Exactly. See, you need to send in crosses. I quite remember when he was in top shape and he scored 2 in back-to-back games. One against Adriana Stars at home, and he also scored against Accra Lions when they won that game at the Accra Sports Stadium. Those balls were scored with his head, and it was, you know, perfect crosses to him, and he had to connect. You don't expect him to play 90 minutes for you without serving him any ball, you know, or playing to his strength. You are just not using him effectively, and that's what Kotoko are failing to, and that's why the attack has been non-existent. It looks like we've spoken about the fact that Osei Kufuor, you know, at the back has the height to deal with him, but even with that height, there's no mismatch over there. But then are the crosses going in? No, they are not going. So maybe that's the time they need to try and restructure things, because it looks like the Bechem United defense, you know, has been on a virtual holiday. They've had very, very little to deal with in the first 45.
Felix, for the first time in so many months, I've seen Justice Blay panicking a bit at the back there with those long balls. He seemed to be struggling a bit coming up against Arnaud.
I think the truth of the matter is the back four, the Kotoko entire back four. There's so much pressure on Danlad, and that should tell you that there's something that is not working for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. It is not just Justice Blay. They don't have control of the ball. What they are doing is, anytime Bechem are on their counter, anytime they get into that 18-yard box, they look very dangerous. So as defenders, all they want to do is try and balloon the ball and clear the ball as quickly as possible. Kotoko themselves, even when they have possession, they haven't built from the back in a very good way. And earlier I spoke about how unprogressive they've been when they have the ball. It is because there's so much pressure on them. Emmanuel Arnaud is pressing very, very hard. Kotoko are not I don't think they've even hold on to the ball for about 40 seconds in this game. That tells you that there is so much pressure on the defenders. And you see, when a team is on a bad patch of form, there's so much pressure, especially on the defenders, because they would concede the goals. So what they want to do is, as individuals, if you are playing in such an important game, a must not lose game, the first thing you always think about is safety. And that will bring a lot of pressure on you because you are afraid of making mistakes. And that is the situation the Kotoko back four now find themselves under. And that will still continue if they don't change in the second half. There will be a lot of pressure on them in the second half.
Time for Mukwala to come in, Felix.
They need somebody who can come a bit to the middle and get the ball. Aside Mukwala's quality, he's also very good in the air. Maybe if they start sending those crosses in. But aside that, he can also drive the ball. He's very good. He can hold up play as well. And he's your top scorer. So why then do you keep your top scorer who has scored 9 goals in the league on the bench in such an important and a crucial game? I think that Prosper Nategum, I'm sure he will say to himself, I got it wrong with not starting Mukwala. If he's injured, then there's no need putting him on the bench. And you see, let's be very honest. I think that kudos to the supporters of Bechem.
Yeah.
They've kept calm even when they thought there was a genuine penalty that should have gone their way. They've behaved very, very well.
Yeah.
You could see that the referees under no pressure to come out and perform. They are waiting for Kotoko players to come out and
they are
continue.
now coming out.
So far, aside the penalty, I think that officiating has been excellent.
Okay, so officiating has been good. Referee Mori Ibrahim will start the second half. Doctor as well will start the second half very soon. We'll be linking up for that second 45 minutes at the Nana Fosuji Abo Park. Quick one, Josiah. What happens in the second half? How things have panned out in the first half? What do you think would happen?
A point will be good for Kotoko, but for Bechem, they'll be looking at just going for the kill, because you look at the demeanor of the Kotoko players. They don't look like a team that wants to win this game. They don't look like a team that are playing with hunger and so much desire.
So let's go back to the Nana Fosuji Abo Park for the second 45 minutes.